went into labour on the 23rd of December, so I was putting up the Christmas tree and went into labour and had a normal delivery just after midnight on the 24th, so George is a Christmas Eve baby. And a few hours in Auckland Hospital, and then we were transferred to birth care. My husband went with my dad and my brother, so they all went off for lunch to have a glass of champagne and toast George's birth. The midwife came to check us over, and I said George hadn't really been feeding, had been a bit, not really that keen. She said perfectly normal after delivery, babies are tired. She said, but there's a paediatrician in the, just outside the hallway, I'll just get him to pop in and have a check. So the paediatrician came in and he had a stethoscope, and as soon as he put it on George's chest, he just kind of stopped for a minute, and then he said, just be back in a sec, and he sort of went out to the hallway, and then all of a sudden there were like nurses, there were a whole lot of people in there. He said, we're just gonna get you in an ambulance, I've heard a bit of a murmur, you're gonna go back to the hospital. So I was panicking. I was on the phone to my husband, who was having a celebration, and I just said, you've got to come back, we're going back to hospital.
As a mum, what was going through your head?
Oh, it was just horrendous. Like, I still, tear up thinking about it now, but it was just awful. It was just, my pregnancy was fine, my delivery was fine. I got to birth care, my baby in my eyes was perfect, and then all of a sudden I was basically faced with losing him. Sorry. You wouldn't wish it on anyone to see your child like that. And I think any parent would swap in a heartbeat. You look at them and they're lying there, especially after surgery, and you think, if I could do this for you, I would. The cardiologist sat us down and explained all of George's heart defects, and my husband and I, Daniel and I, were just in complete shock. We were just both sitting there in front of him, and I was sobbing. Like, I just couldn't. It was like that uncontrollable crying where you try and stop and you can't. So George has got trilogy of fallow, and he's got pulmonary atresia, and he's also got MACs, which are like collaterals that have grown to help compensate for the other heart defects. So he's nearly 4. And he's had 3 operations, and he's had 5 cardiac catheter procedures, which, I say it's a procedure because it's not classified as a surgery, but it's still under general anaesthetic, and it's still invasive, and they still, so I think everything that they go through is hard, Yeah, I think it's really hard for siblings because, and especially, William was 8 when George came along, so for 8 years had us, he was an only child, had us all to himself, and all of a sudden, not only did he have to share his parents, but we really had to be there a lot more for George. So, I didn't get to see William play like his Saturday soccer for, a good couple of years. I always had people on the sideline that I'd text saying, what's the score, how's he doing? But yeah, it was quite different, quite an adjustment for William. He won't need another big surgery until he grows a bit more, and then he's actually got a pig's valve in him, so that will need replacing as he grows. Like his cardiologist said to us once, I'm sorry to tell you this, but with George's condition, he'll never have a last surgery. Like, he'll always sort of have bits that need replacing or things that need doing. He's still got a small hole in his heart that they actually created in the last surgery to relieve some pressures, so that will need to be closed at some point. So yeah, until that, we're kind of just hanging in there, and he's doing great. Heart Kids are amazing. When we were in hospital for the first time, it was over the Christmas period. It was quite quiet, and I think Nana Mari was on the ward, and she just came in one day. I was probably still crying. I think I cried for like 5 days straight. She started telling me about her grandson who had a heart condition, and yeah, she was just amazing. And now whenever we go in, it's so nice to see them. They're always there for you. They come and visit, you know, even if it's just to give you a hug. And we go to the family events that Heart Kids put on. That's quite good for meeting other heart families who understand what you're going through. Heart Kids have just been an amazing support.